Hey everybody, it's Denise uh Siegel. And if you want to book a reading, I keep forgetting to tell people this. You can click the book now button if you're on Substack, or you can go to the more button if you're on YouTube, and it will unfold and you'll see a place where you can click and book a reading. Also, please subscribe to my Substack. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps me to continue making content. So, and it's you don't have it's free, so it doesn't cost you anything, and it's very helpful. Um, and if you want me to keep doing this, it does help. All right, so thank you everybody for all your support, and I wanted to. I'm gonna probably start to do the Saturday morning live streams again on Substack, starting, I think, maybe during the Christmas season. I might do one and then start them next year again. Um, Let me just say that I had a vision last weekend. Uh, I told my husband about it and a couple other people, but I thought about posting it, but I just felt like it doesn't. I don't know what good it was going to do. I already posted about the fact that I was doing the astrology on Venezuela, and it was just a matter of time, probably sometime this month, at the latest next month, that we would. I gave dates, potential dates, where I thought that we were going to go into a land war in Venezuela. Mm. So I had a vision last weekend that I was preparing turkey, preparing like Thanksgiving dinner, and I saw like an announcement. I didn't see it, but I knew about an announcement. So that's an interesting thing because anyway, I knew about an announcement that Trump was going to start the land war, and I was upset about it and saw it more than one time. So at Thanksgiving, I didn't pay attention to the news. The news was off. So I was sitting there for a moment and I Googled it. And hey, he made an announcement on Thanksgiving that we are going to go to start a land war with Venezuela. And they've murdered a few more people now. So we've got 80 people at least that the US government has murdered for no apparent, we don't know why. They say it's narco terrorism, but no proof has been given. And you know, apparently, you can't say the rules or the law that if you are following orders and you're somebody who is in the military, you're following illegal orders like murdering people that you have no proof that should be murdered, and you're the one who pulls the trigger, you can be court-martialed for that at some point. And Trump isn't going to be president forever. And murder isn't one of those crimes that like has a short statutory limitation. So, something to think about if you're in the military, that he's not well, and you might want to consider yourself uh and what could happen to you if you look. Everybody that's followed Trump's orders in the first 1.0 lost their law licenses, ended up in jail. He may have sprung them, but many of them have ended up back in jail. And hey, he's again not going to be president forever. Um, he's an 80-year-old man almost, and he does have health problems, it sounds like. And I've looked at his natal chart. He's got Pluto starting to go through the sixth house, and he does look like to me in 2028 something's going on. I think I know what it is now. So I've been trying to figure out all these Mars Uranus uh, opposition. So there's a Mars Uranus conjunction that's in opposition to the moon this coming summer in June of 2026 to July 2026, which is indicative of chaos, violence on the homeland. It's when the last civil war was kicked off, Uranus was there, but Mars was conjunct it. Um, and it's going to then, Mars will be in Sagittarius on the moon by the winter of 2026. I believe. I have to look at, you'll see, if you go to my Substack, you'll get all the exact details. And you can Google or like look in the Finder and look under, you can put Civil War, you can put Uranus aspects, Mars aspects, and you'll find it. But then it comes back around in 2028, so that there's a Uranus Mars opposition to the moon again. And before that even happens, there's all kinds of indications across the board in every single chart, in not just Trump's chart, but every single person that is in his administration, that there's something going on there that's not good. And there's some kind of shakeup. Now, it looks like to me at this point that somehow J.D. Vance ends up being thrust into the position of being president, which that in itself might be why the Mars-Uranus conjunction opposite the moon happens 6 months later, because he's not a beloved figure and he's very likely to do some dumb stuff. So that could be part of it. There's a lot going on right now. And, it seems like our country and our institutions are disintegrating and everything is falling apart to me and just getting worse by the day. I went on the ACA website because that's how I get insurance, because I don't have a normal job. And most people in our country now don't have normal jobs. They work for Uber, they work for Lyft, they do gig economy kind of stuff. And so a lot of people get their health insurance through this system because, they don't have it through their employment or their employer. And even, I had WGA insurance, Writers Guild insurance when I lived in Los Angeles. And even that started to suck back then. And every year that, we've gone by, the healthcare system has gotten worse and worse and worse and more expensive and worse and worse and worse and worse. And, now I can't see my doctor for like 3 to 6 months. So all that talk about, well, we have to pay more, but we have access to our bullshit. I had a friend in Canada who had like better care than we do, and it was almost free. You know, I mean, she lived longer with the same exact diagnosis than a woman I knew who got the same diagnosis about 6 months later. She lived even after that 6 months. So she lived for a couple of years longer than the woman who was diagnosed here in the States. Same exact diagnosis, same exact kind of cancer, same stage, everything. But she's in Canada, so she got streamlined into the system and they took care of her. Here, not so much. So we have a shitty healthcare, completely broken system. And now you go on the ACA website and it's not double, it's literally triple what it was when it was at it before the subsidies. The subsidies took it in about half of what they were, 5 years before. So if you had health insurance for $600 a month for 3 people, now it's $3,000 a month. So I don't know what the fuck people are talking about, that it's doubled. It's more than fucking doubled. Literally, I've calculated how much money it would cost to insure the shittiest insurance, not good insurance, but the lowest cost insurance, the shittiest one I could get, was about $40,000 a year, not including the $20,000 deductible and the $100 each time you go see the doctor. So you're talking about easily a $50,000 to $60,000 a year on health insurance and covering bills. Who can afford that? I mean, seriously, you'd have to be a millionaire to afford that. And if you're a millionaire or a billionaire, then you're probably, you probably have other means of getting insurance than through the ACA. It's insane. And it's more than my mortgage. Like the monthly payments are more than my mortgage. It basically like buying a second house or more, because it's actually more expensive than your house, because not only do you have to pay the insurance premiums, but then you have to also pay for the deductibles and the medicine and the co-payments for the doctors. And it's insane. I mean, We are literally the only country, the only freaking country, Western nation, the only developed nation in the entire world that does not have some form of single payer or not single payer, but just some kind of universal health coverage. There's many ways to do it. I mean, but this is not the way to do it. We got Obamacare in like 2014 or something. It kicked in, and that was supposed to be a stepping stone to universal health coverage. But the Democrats and the Republicans have done nothing to push it forward. And I don't know what the point was for the Democrats to just basically dig their heels in about it. And then when they won the election in New York, go, oh, okay, well, now we're going to just like forget about it. I don't understand that. What was the point of that? I mean, why shut down the government at all if you're just going to cave like that? And this is the problem we've had in our country. This is why our country is falling apart. We can blame it aggressively on the Republicans, but the passive aggressive aspect is the Democrats have gone along with this. I'm not saying all Democrats have gone along. There's good ones and there's good independents. I mean, I can name several of them, but the majority of the neoliberal Democrats, all the neoliberal Democrats, not the progressive wing, are just as much to blame for this bullshit as the Republicans. They are, because they have not stood up. They're fat, happy, and comfortable, and they don't give a fuck. They're getting paid by special interests. Our whole system is in the process of collapsing right now. You can see it in the astrology. You can feel it in your daily life. And if we're going to go to war with Venezuela, I mean, then we're headed into a world war. And I think this is what's happening. I've said for a long time that I had been told that if Kamala Harris won, we would have a civil war followed by a world war. And I don't mean just like have been in a world war, really, a cold world war in a way for a while. A technological world war, one that's covert, but an open, hostile, hot world war. And if Trump won, we're going to end up in a world war first and a civil war second. And it looks like we're headed towards a world war pretty soon. And how is Venezuela going to end us up in some kind of world war? Here's how. We are going to invade Venezuela. We're going to get all involved. Now, Trump isn't just going to invade Venezuela. I guarantee you. I heard in a meditation, another country, I'm not going to say the name, and someone else in my group heard a different South American name. And I knew when putting together this whole picture, this meant that Trump is going to try to get control of the entire Americas, meaning South America, probably Central America. And he's going for the weakest link, kind of like Putin's strategy. Not that Ukraine was weak, but they had already invaded there and they thought they had a foothold in the case of Ukraine. He's going to go for the weakest link he feels in South America. He's going to try to take hold of that country and use it as a platform to take hold, just like Putin style, of South America and Central America. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm saying that's the plan. I don't think it will work, just like I didn't think Putin's plan was going to work in Ukraine, just like I warned everybody about that Putin was getting ready to do an invasion in the summer or the late, it was like September, so late summer, early fall, 6 months before the buildup of the troops on the border of Ukraine, and came on YouTube and said to the Russians, you're not going to be able to just take over this country. They're going to fight like hell. This is going to be your Vietnam. People are going to leave. This is not going to be, you're not going to take control of this country. They're going to fight like hell. And, that whole thing of they thought they were going to be done in a week, I knew it was completely insane. But I was the only one person saying that, and it turned out to be right. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I think Trump is going to invade Venezuela. We are going to be focused on South America for a while. on trying to control that part of the continent. That Putin and Xi are going to use that as an easy entrance into, hey, well, the Americans, they're dealing with their war in Venezuela. Let's go ahead and just try to see if we can blow the fuck out of Ukraine and get that out of the way and move on to the next place. I know he's thinking that, okay? Xi will use it for some kind of way to covertly take over whatever he wants to take over. He will say, you know, we'll see. I mean, he doesn't have to physically take over anything. He's smarter than that, probably, but he will get his ducks in a row and do what he wants to do while this is all happening, and nobody's going to do anything to stop it. I read the other day that the Iranians were furiously building missiles so that they can dump hundreds of thousands of missiles at the same time on Israel to destroy the Iron Dome so they can bomb the shit out of Israel. All of those things are connected. Even if we go into Venezuela, that is a proxy. It's either a proxy war with Russia, because Russia is allies with Venezuela, and or it is some kind of an agreement, because this all started happening after the Alaska thing. Is it some kind of an agreement with Trump and Putin? Hey, that will give us cover to do what we want. Then you don't have to be involved in Ukraine and giving them weapons, because you'll be spending all your weapons in Venezuela, and we'll look the other way, and we'll do what we want and you do what we. I don't know. I would not put anything past these fuckers. So all I'm telling you is what I have seen and what I can see in the astrology and what the visions I've had. We are headed in this direction. And like I said, this period would sort of be a slow period, the fall into the winter, because the planets have retrograded. Neptune has moved back into Pisces. People are confused again, not really wanting to pay attention. Uranus has moved back into Uranus and Saturn have both moved back into Pisces as well. Oh no, sorry, Uranus is not moving to Pisces. Uranus has moved back into Taurus. Sorry, Saturn has moved, and same with Neptune. They both moved back into Pisces. So everything is kind of feels like it did right before Trump took office. It's going to all go direct and start to move forward again by next year. There is a big solar eclipse in Aquarius, 28 degrees, right on my moon and close to my sun. I'm a double Aquarius. It's going to be right on my moon at 28 degrees. And I looked at it in Trump's chart, and it's right on his part of fortune, and it's making a giant square. And I think this is the beginning of some serious trouble for Trump. And I mean, probably health-wise, it's in his 6th house. There's a major decline coming for him. And that's probably going to come to its culmination in 2028, I think. It could also mean other things happening, because Uranus will be exactly in the square to his Mars at the 10th house, where it has been each time he has been targeted for, by people who want to hurt him. Let's just put it that way. So that is possible as well. But something more extreme. I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to be hurt or anything's going to happen to him, but I think it's very, very, very possible that someone might try to do something to hurt him during that period. And after that eclipse, he's kind of very vulnerable for a while. So we're not even a year in, and inflation's gone crazy. The tariffs are insane. The ACA has completely been disemboweled. People are struggling, and people are not going to have health care. And as people go off their health care, who can afford to go not pay for the premiums, the regular people who think, oh, this isn't affecting me. I have my insurance through, my government job, or my, working at Staples or whatever companies. There are only like 5 of them that still provide health insurance. But anyway, I'll be fine. Not really, because all the people that don't have to pay the insurance who are relatively healthy, only people that are going to pay that kind of money for insurance are people that are like in the middle of having cancer treatments or brain surgery or something like that. No one else is going to pay that kind of money to get shitty healthcare that doesn't even work, that sucks ass, that is garbage. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but many, many, many doctors since I've moved here have been leaving the profession, and you can't even see a doctor. You go to the doctor and it's like you get to see a nurse practitioner. To see an actual doctor now is like a rare occurrence. And yet you're paying the same amount to see this nurse practitioner as you would be paying to see a doctor. And you're not getting a doctor, you're getting a nurse practitioner, which is fine under certain circumstances, but it shouldn't be every single time. And that's how it is. It's how it is now. You have to like wait 3, 6 months, or sometimes you can't even see them at all. It's just so broken. It's so broken. And I suppose they're trying to survive because they don't get paid as much. Then the insurance companies screw them over. They have to hire an entire staff of people to get their money from the healthcare insurance people because they're such douchebags. And it's just the for-profit motivation. And people are like, well, why is it so different now? Because when Nixon was president, Kaiser Permanente, that was a whole for-profit model. And there used to be rules and there used to be ways. It were nonprofit organizations that had healthcare that took care of things, and it worked. And then you got Kaiser, who turned it into a business and something that could be traded as stock, and people can make money off of your suffering. And that says it started to kind of go down the chain, and it became a capitalist structure, not for the greater good, but for the good of a few wealthy people, for those that could invest in it into the 80s. And it just started just totally eating away the system. Every year has been worse than the last. I've been around long enough to see it. It's just been dissolving. And it's just escalating to the point where it's almost completely useless at this point, in my opinion. It is almost completely dysfunctional. Unless you've just been in a car wreck or something like that, or some kind of, just like like what people say about Canada. Only Canada, they don't have to pay that kind of money for it, and they don't go bankrupt over it. So we've got all the complaints the Canadians have about their healthcare system, but we get to also pay like $60,000 a year to have that problem and go bankrupt. It's really great. And why don't the Congress people do anything? Well, it turns out if you make it to Congress, if you make it anywhere in the government you get elected as a rep, as a senator, president, vice president, you have healthcare, great healthcare insurance for life. You have universal health coverage for the rest of your family. You don't need to worry about it. I say that those people who we pay their salary, they should have to be on the ACA too. Or they should not have insurance. They should have to pay for it out of their pocket, or everybody should have the insurance that they have. Those are the options. I am getting so fed up with how bad this system is, and it's going to get worse, that I'm going to put together a manifesto and just publish it on my Substack. And I'm thinking, I just, it's getting so bad that even here in Nashville, it's just totally red. We have people who are making it into the progressives who are running for Congress. This woman named Afton Bain, who seems awesome to me, she's actually been put up. And that is the first time in the history of me living here, which has been 12 years, where I've ever seen anyone who wasn't a neoliberal Democrat run for a House seat. This woman is a badass, and she's a progressive, and she has a shot. I mean, the other idiot guy, Ben Epps or whatever, he's doing okay. I think he seems to be ahead because people around here have not stopped drinking the Kool-Aid. But eventually, as we see this demographic shift happening here, And as we start to see people realizing, I can't afford to pay my health insurance bill. I can't afford to live anymore. Uh, Look at the Republicans who made my life miserable. Maybe they'll wake up and realize they've been brainwashed into believing that somehow the Republicans and this whole unchecked fettered capitalism thing, which basically just makes rich people richer and poor and middle class people poorer, has been going on for a long time. You'd think people would have figured this out by now, but apparently some people still haven't. Or some people are just so very hateful that they just would rather take things away from other people than make their own lives better. Which one it is, it's toss up. Maybe both. Maybe some people one way, some people the other. I don't know. But it is a really upsetting period of time to see people struggling, to see how bad things are. And then you go watch the news for 5 seconds, you put on CNN or MSNBC, and it's like wall to wall about one story, one thing that happened. And it could be an important thing, but you don't need 24/7 news coverage on the one thing. Trump said a douchey thing. Well, he says douchey things every day. Who cares? Like, move on to something that's actually important. That's a little bit of coverage is fine. But wall to wall, everybody talking about it for like fucking weeks on end is and not covering actual stories that matter. And then just dropping things like the ACA thing that we have till December 15th to figure out and miss covering it and saying things like, oh, it's doubling. It could be tripling. Well, yeah, it's tripling not from the subsidies, but tripling from before the subsidies. So that if you were paying $1,000 a month to pay for all of your family to be on ACA, now it's $3,000. And you might have gotten a little break during the last few years. So this is like back to 2019. If you're paying $1,000 a month before the subsidies, the subsidies might have kicked it down to $600 or something. But while that was happening, insurance apparently was just raking it in and going higher and higher and higher and higher. And now we're talking about tripling it from the point before the subsidies, not where it was on the subsidies. So that means if you're paying $500 a month with subsidies, it's not $1,500 a month. It's the $1,000 a month times three. It's $3,000 a month. And that is really misleading. Your insurance cost should not be the price of a mortgage. That's insane. And for all you people that are watching from other countries in Western Europe or anywhere in the developed world, this is the land of opportunity. This is what you get when you come to America. Yeah. You get basically a third world mentality in the wealthiest country in the world, where we're supposed to be a Christian nation taking care of each other, but this is accordingly, I guess this is the Christian way, to just let people suffer and do nothing to help others. Take away all the subsidies to foreign countries to feed children. There's something like hundreds of thousands of kids have died because of that, because of Trump. You know, allow, call a peace deal in Israel and, continue the genocide, say you're brokering peace with Ukraine and then basically giving Russia a land grab. I mean, he just says, what the fuck? He says anything. And I don't know why that is never called out in the media. He says all kinds of stuff. We're supposed to be in peace in Israel. Israel's supposed to be at peace. Ask the people that live there if they're still getting bombed. They're still getting killed. There are still horrible things going on there against the Palestinians. In fact, it's not just happening in Gaza now. It's happening on the West Bank. And hey, but Trump said we have a peace deal, so in a ceasefire, even though it doesn't really seem like there is one. But I guess it's maybe Hamas is not fighting back, but the Israelis are still being aggressive. I don't know, but we don't really know because no one covers it. I mean, we only hear these things third hand. We don't have like any more journalists because the newspapers have been destroyed. CNN and MSNBC basically get their news from the New York Times. Everything is like, it's just insane. It's driving me nuts how degraded and how absolutely nobody's done anything about any of this stuff. And it just continues to happen. And we have people sitting in Congress, in the White House, who just, they're fat and happy and they don't give a crap. That's how it seems. And it really feels like, why did the Democrats bother? It was just a show so they could win that election. And then as soon as they did, like, oh, okay, well, let's just, back to business. Let's, get our 401ks fattened up and do some trades here and make a little bit of extra money. What is going on? Why do you run for the Congress? Why are you in the House and the Senate if you don't want to do anything? I mean, I would run for the fucking office if I wasn't such a weirdo, but there's no one going to vote for me. I'm too much of a freak. But people need to step up and get involved. I mean, if you're not a weirdo psychic astrologer who's said all kinds of crazy things on YouTube, please, and you have a conscience, please run for something. Please do something because these guys, this system is so messed up. I'm telling you, it's going to collapse. We're going to have to rethink this whole thing. Start thinking about it now. Okay, I'm sorry, but I am really upset about all this stuff. And just the fact that we're about to go to war in Venezuela, that we're murdering people, that we're rounding up Mexican people and people from other countries and fucking throwing them into other places. I mean, there is just the amount of inhumanity and evilness making it so that people can't have health coverage, cutting back SNAP benefits and Medicare. And so that's just like, this is just like this, like a constant this to everybody in the United States, like, and everybody in the world. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like this, that's what this whole thing feels like. We're the rich guys. We're going to do whatever we want. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I mean, that's what it's ridiculous. That is what's going on. I just feel like the wealthy and powerful have their boot on everybody's neck and they're just going crazy with this. And Trump is just the fat, bloated wart on the top of the whole thing, puppeting their crazy bullshit. I'm tired of it. I am so sick of it. I hope people wake up. I hope they wake up soon and realize what's going on. It's been going on for a long time. And now it's to a point where you can't hide from it anymore. And I hope people wake up and realize where it's coming from instead of believing the lies that it is this person or the bait and switch game. All of those sort of conspiracy theories that were going around 20 years ago about the Illuminati. Well, that's true. There is a conspiracy. It's cabal of the wealthiest and most powerful people in the world trying to suck the marrow out of everyone else so that they have everything and you have nothing. That's the conspiracy. And it's right out in the open. It's completely there for you to see. It's not really that complicated. And you just have to think, well, what does this person have to gain? And what do I have to lose? And you can figure it out pretty quickly. And I wish people would use their logic and realize what's going on. And hey, it's very apparent. Follow the money. Who's benefiting? That's the answer. There's not some kind of satanic cabal, unless you think that people who worship money only and are completely selfish and greedy are satanic, which probably they are. That's what's going on. That's the real thing. They're trying to get you to look over here. Oh, it's Satan. It's the devil. No, the devil is the people that have been lying to you, telling you it's this or that or this or that. Oh, them doing the song and dance. It's over here. It's over there. It's not. Don't look at me. It's not me. Yeah. That's what's going on. So this is my rant. I am really mad. There's a groundwater trine going on. There's a Uranus square to my moon. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm tired of seeing the suffering and the just disgusting behavior. And I'm sorry. So I hope you guys have a great holiday. I just want to wish everybody well. Please continue to pray and do your work and really think about how we can make this world better. I also really think if you have the slightest inkling that you could be a good leader and you have a really good heart and you're a compassionate person, you should run for anything you can. We need people who are good to actually represent us everywhere. Please think about that for the new year. Think about how you can change this place and this world for the better, because we all need to do that. We need to stop hiding in our holes. We need to come out and do stuff. And whatever you can do, I really, really, it takes courage, but you know what? People can recognize good people, and they know if you are somebody who is a compassionate person, even if you're just running for the city council or the city mayor or village, whatever, garbage guy, it doesn't matter. If you are a good person, your influence is needed in the government in whatever capacity that you feel comfortable with. It just seems like our nation is really in serious crisis, and it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better until we step up and we do our part in trying to change it. I know a lot of people are doing that. They're going to protests and things like that. It's going to take more than that. It's going to take a lot more than that. It's going to take us reconfiguring things, really putting our minds to what needs to be changed, and really perhaps drafting bills and legislation, even among the people, and trying to get those things passed, because it doesn't seem like our Congress is going to do it. Doesn't seem like they have any interest in serving anyone but themselves. I'm not saying everyone, but the vast majority, 75% of them. All right. God bless you all. Have a wonderful Christmas time, and I will see you guys maybe the next couple of weeks. We'll do a live stream if you're interested. You let me know in the comments. If you guys want to do that again in the morning on Saturday, maybe in a couple of weeks before Christmas, we can do that. All right. And thanks to everybody watching, and thanks for everyone who subscribes, and thanks to everyone. I pray every night for all of you guys, everybody who's the world, but also specifically for people that are part of my community. So blessings to all of you. I wish you all well. And I wish we could do more than just thoughts and prayers, but that seems to be it for now. Blessings to all. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.